In this video, let's dive into the life, personality, and backstory of the Duke of Weaselton, who's also known on the streets as the Duke of Bootleg in Zootopia. In the movie, he comes off as a bit of a professional when it comes to selling pirated DVDs, but that's really just scratching the surface of his shady dealings. He's the kind of guy who isn't above stealing wallets, taking on odd jobs, or running errands for some pretty dangerous characters, all for the right price, of course. He has been around Zootopia's underworld for quite a while. He knows how to navigate the dark corners of the city and has crossed paths with some notorious figures. One of the biggest names he's encountered is Mr. Big, who is known as the most powerful crime boss in Zootopia. Interestingly enough, he also has a history with Nick Wilde, who used to be a con artist himself but has since turned his life around and become a cop. It's amusing to think about how their paths have crossed in such different ways. Despite his long-standing presence in this shady world, the Duke doesn't exactly command respect among his peers. He's more of a scrappy underdog than a true crime boss. His low status means that while he's involved in some questionable activities, he doesn't have the same level of influence or power that others do in the criminal hierarchy. So, while he may be trying to make a name for himself in Zootopia's underbelly, he often finds himself overlooked and underestimated by those who are truly at the top. When it comes to his personality, his name really fits him. He's a weasel in every way you can think of. He's snide, conniving, and always on the lookout for a quick way to make some cash. The only thing he's truly loyal to is money. He doesn't hesitate to stab others in the back or break the law if it means he can line his pockets a little more. While some criminals might have grand ambitions for power or revenge, the Duke's goals are much simpler and more modest. He's not a mastermind like Bellwether, who managed to trick everyone and almost take control of Zootopia. The worst things he has done are bootlegging and petty theft. The most dangerous crime he gets involved in during the movie is stealing toxic flowers, but even then, he's just a hired hand who doesn't fully understand what he's getting into or the extent of the trouble he's helping to create. The Duke has a sharp tongue and an arrogant attitude, which really sets him apart from other characters.
Well, look who it is. The Duke of Bootleg.
What's it to you, Wild? Shouldn't you be melting down a popsicle or something? Hey, if it isn't Flopsy the Copsy.
His humor is pretty dry, and he often uses insults as a way to be funny. He's quick to mock those around him, especially the cops. A great example of this is when he calls Judy Cottontail and sarcastically tells her to enjoy a donut while kicking a huge donut her way.
Stop in the name of the law! Catch me if you can, Cottontail! Have a donut, copper!
One of the funniest moments is when Judy mispronounces his name as Weaselton instead of Weaselton, and he gets really angry about it.
What were you gonna do with those night howlers, Weaselton?
It's Weaselton. Duke Weaselton.
It just goes to show that even the smallest crooks want some respect, even if it's just about their name. While he tries to act tough and confident, there's no denying that he's a bit of a coward when things get serious. He's smart enough not to pick a fight with Judy, so instead, he's always looking for a way to escape her. During their chase, he seems way more interested in running away than actually standing up to her. He only shows any kind of toughness or bravado when he thinks he has the upper hand, like when he's far ahead of Judy and can't help but gloat and taunt her from a safe distance. Interestingly, he even has the nerve to talk back to Mr. Big, calling him a dirty rat for working with a cop, even though he's literally being threatened with death by him at that moment.
Awesome. You dirty rat, why you helping her? She's a cop!
This can either be seen as stupidity or, oddly enough, as a twisted kind of courage. Overall, Duke isn't the criminal mastermind who takes center stage in the movie, but I think that's exactly the point. He represents those everyday crooks, the small-time criminals who exist in every city, whether real or fictional. He's not out to take over the world. He's just trying to get by bending the rules a little.